First of all, it is my great pleasure to welcome to this year's graduation the members of the school board, Superintendent Tom O'Brien, our principals Ed Webley and Peter Reynolds, and the faculty and staff of VUHS, our families, our friends, and of course, my fellow seniors. While I was frantically running around school trying to figure out what exactly is entailed in a welcoming address, Matt Schlein told me, I believe more as a way to calm me down than anything else, that the salutatorian is supposed to set the mood for graduation. I thanked him and am very grateful for his advice, but now I'm left to figure out what exactly the mood of graduation is supposed to be. Most prominently, this is a time for gushing parents and thousands of photo ops to celebrate our accomplishments during these past 4 years. But in order to understand the significance of these accomplishments, we must also reflect on how far we have come throughout the course of our high school careers. When I first began high school, I thought of these 4 years as little more than a necessary stepping stone to get to the next level of my education. Of course, I was excited and a little bit nervous to be in classes with the big kids, but I had known since I was about 5 years old that I wanted to be a veterinarian, so I was determined to take as many science courses as possible and keep my grades up to impress the colleges. I might dabble in other subjects that interest me. Taking language arts class is necessary in a world that values eloquent, written, and verbal communication. Knowing French would be useful as our society becomes more globalized. Joining chorus would be a very nice break from too many science classes, and I love to sing. Yeah, I would take a few non-science classes, but it would be mostly to spice things up and fulfill graduation requirements. Or so I thought as a freshman. As it turns out, humanities and language arts classes thrill me. French class has become one of my favorite learning experiences, to the point where I'm actually considering minoring in French. Et notre voyage à Paris, c'était très chouette. Merci beaucoup de Blois. As for chorus, well, I didn't dabble in the school's music department. I gave a good chunk of my time, my brain power, my willpower, and my soul over to the musicals, music festivals, concerts, adjudications, and even sight singing, and I have enjoyed every minute of it. I know that my growth may have taken a bit of a different track than many of my classmates. Trust me, I know how geeky I can be. But the point is that over these last 4 years, I and every senior sitting to my left and to my right have all grown tremendously. By merely fulfilling graduation requirements, we have all broadened our knowledge and expanded our hopes and futures. But that is not all there is to it. Through amazing sports teams and academics, through incredible feats of both group and individual community service, through living and learning and performing together, we have blossomed into a remarkable group of young adults. Of course, the seniors can't take all of the blame for this transformation. We must also thank every one of you in the audience who has helped us along the way, leading us and inspiring us to make the decisions that have landed the class of 2009 onto these risers for the whole community to see. I said earlier that graduation was a time to celebrate and a time to reflect. Well, my classmates, my friends, my family, and my teachers, the seniors you see before you were once nervous 7th graders, scampering through the hallways like minnows thrown into the ocean. We were once freshmen, ever deserving of the upperclassmen's gentle reminders that the world does not revolve around us and we do not know everything. Yes, we were once very new to this school, but after a long road of personal growth, of hard work and determination, of occasionally sitting down and doing some homework, and of amazing accomplishments, it is my pleasure to say that we are not the newbies we once were. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to welcome all of you to the graduation of the class of 2009. And now I'd like to welcome Jessie Sturdivant for her valedictorian's address.
Good evening. With all the talk that's been going on about the economic recession and considering how it has become the focus of so much attention, I think it's fitting that I should speak tonight about investing. Not, however, about economic investment, which, as we've seen, can be a risky business, but about a very different type of investment, one that we should all try to practice a bit more. I'm talking about investing in people, giving out not money, but time, interest, and involvement. The returns are better, the system is more secure, and it costs a lot less. One illustration of a time when someone invested in me was when I started 4th grade at a new elementary school. I was shy, scared, and uncertain. I did not know any of the kids, and the bigger public school was overwhelming after the small school I was used to. However, I was not alone in this new environment. I was fortunate to have a teacher who reached out to me and helped me to feel comfortable. She encouraged my love of writing, showing me that I could develop my natural gifts to express myself, starting me on a path that eventually led to my choice of what to study in college. I imagine that each of you, if you thought back through your experiences in elementary school and high school, you too can think of one or two teachers that had an impact on you, who helped you through difficult situations or encouraged you in the development of a talent you didn't realize you possessed. Last spring, I had a chance to pass on some of the investment that has been made in me. I traveled to Timișoara, Romania, a city of just over 30,000 people, with a group of teens from my church. We spent a week doing renovations and volunteering at a day center that works with homeless children in the city, and at a girls' home run by the same organization. Painting fences and clearing junk may not seem like it has much of an impact on people's lives, but when we shared a meal with the children at the shelter and spent time playing and eating with the girls, I saw how great an effect this positive outreach and our small part in it was having on their lives. And I knew that I wanted to continue to reach out and invest in others around me. I know that many of you have been involved in service and activities within our community and have impacted the children in the elementary schools where you volunteer, people through nonprofit organizations you've supported and raised money for, and many others in 100 different ways. I hope that you will continue this involvement an investment as you leave here tonight to go to a new stage in your life. Now, just like those annoying commercials, I need to insert a quick disclaimer. One drawback to this analogy of investing in people is that it comes across rather selfish. Investment implies that you are looking for some personal return. If you are really investing in others to get something out of it, then you are using people as if they were resources to be consumed or manufactured into something else. Ultimately, our investments need to be done not for our own benefit, but for the good of the other person and our community. It is easy to see in our culture the devastating results that occur when everyone acts for their own selfish interests. But what if we invested in others for the benefit to them and to our society? The irony of this sort of unselfish giving is that we often do end up benefiting by giving ourselves to something worthwhile. Do you know how many companies are involved in the stock market? I looked it up, and there are 3,877 American companies in the New York stock market that you can invest in. There are, on the other hand, 36,000 people in Addison County alone that you can invest in. And there are as many different ways to invest as there are people to invest in. At its most basic level, investing means taking an interest in something and providing time or money to help support it. The same definition can be applied to investment in people. Show that you are interested and you sincerely care, not only about their accomplishments, but about them. Give them your time by volunteering or making time in a busy schedule for family and friends. Invest by teaching. You don't have to make a career as a classroom teacher. You can share your knowledge and skills by volunteering at a summer or after-school program for kids, or informally sharing what you know with those around you, both children and adults. An investment can be a small, kind act to a stranger, or a long-term relationship built with a close friend. I know that I would not be where I am or who I am today without the help of many people who have invested in me: my family, my teachers, my friends, and community members. By encouraging me, listening to me, guiding me, and taking the time to show and explain things to me, these people have given out time, energy, and caring that I hope I will be able to repay and pass on to others. So why is it so important that we take the time to invest in those around us? Can you imagine a world in which you took care of yourself and only yourself, and everyone around you did the same thing? In which we functioned only as single units, rather than as a united community? I believe that our society simply wouldn't work like that. It would fall apart. We are designed to be social creatures, working together and connecting with each other. One thing that our senior year will be remembered for was the election of Barack Obama. I believe that President Obama expressed what I've been trying to communicate to you tonight when he said, "We have a stake in one another. What binds us together is greater than what drives us apart." And if enough people believe in the truth of that proposition and act on it, then we might not solve every problem, but we can get something meaningful done for the people with whom we share this earth. So I leave you this evening to consider taking small steps to invest in those around you and to make investing a lifelong habit. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to introduce today's elected and invited speaker, Mr. Peter Quinn. Now, there's a few things Mr. Quinn probably wouldn't want you to know. For instance, he's one of the few men in Western civilization who can shoot three-point baskets while playing the trombone and wooing women at the same time. He also once got in trouble for organizing a camel polo match in the Boston Public Gardens near his hometown. But eventually he rebounded into accompanying Yo-Yo Ma on the Glockenspiel in Madison Square Garden at halftime of a Knicks game. Those are the things he doesn't want you to know. And I just wanted to let you know that he's a well-rounded human being. But he's also a great guy, and he's a graduate of Middlebury College and has spent literally his entire adult life helping people and youth of Addison County. He is one of our clinicians. He helps kids every day to realize their dreams, and that's what our job is as educators. He's a great basketball coach. State championships in girls basketball, and one next year, not that I'm putting any pressure on you, Pete, in boys basketball. And he is the man we refer to when we say, when Quinn the Eskimo gets here, everybody's going to jump with joy. I give you Peter Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Webley. Superintendent O'Brien, members of the board, faculty, friends, family, and most of all, members of the graduating class of 2009, welcome to graduation. I want to first express my sincerest thanks to the class of 2009 for this distinct honor of being chosen as your graduation speaker. I'm touched. We've been in each other's lives for the past 6 years, and having watched you progress from New Kids on the Block in fall of 2003, learning the ways of middle school world under the caring tutelage of the class of 2008, and then becoming bright-eyed freshmen 2 years later, eagerly absorbing the collective wisdom of classes 2006, 7, and 8, I appreciate the length and depth of your journey today. I also want to share with you all how much I appreciate being part of this school and community. Over the last years especially, I've grown used to hearing numerous compliments about many aspects of this community. The students, the positive and safe atmosphere of the school, the support of the school by the greater community, and this great facility, including the gym we sit in today, one of the finest in the state. But you know, I was thinking, why would they pick me? And I couldn't figure it out. And I realized after a while that somehow they figured out that I'm like them, that I have some sort of affinity to this class. And the process by which I realized this was a process of preparing for and writing this speech. Because all week long, people have been saying to me, how's the speech going? I walk down the hall, Mrs. Huss says, how's the speech? You finished? I said, yeah, it's going well. It's going real well, I said, as I scurry away. Into the library, Mr. Brady. Mr. Quinn, have you finished your speech? How's it going? Are you happy with it? I said, oh, I'm real happy. And I look where my watch would be if I wore one, as if I have an appointment, and I'm walking out the door. I was getting away from him. And it was getting worse and worse. Tuesday, Wednesday, more of the same. I walked down to the office. My coworker, Allison, says to me, Peter, are your speech all done? Now, I'm mad at Allison because she's leaving, so I didn't feel that I owed her anything at all. So I said to her quickly, thinking very quickly, Allison, how many school-based clinicians does it take to change a light bulb? She looked at me blankly. I said, none. The light bulb has to want to change. And I escaped back into my lair. I realized now I had to do something because the questions and the pressure was starting to get to me. I was starting to feel like a senior who had his paper invoices due the next day, and I hadn't begun it. So I knew I had to do something, so on Thursday I did. I broke into the armory. I found the secret tunnel to the school, comes out in the basement. It worked perfectly. I came right into my office. No one knew I was there. No more questions. How's the speech going? And the other question, when I called my mom the night before for advice, she says, of course, how's the speech going? And then the other question, how long is it? Which I had no idea how long it was because, of course, I hadn't started it yet. So anyway, Thursday came, Thursday went. Friday morning, this morning, I got to school. I realized I've got a real problem now. I've got a real problem. This speech, it's coming. There's going to be all these people here. Class is expecting me to say something. What do I do? And then I thought, what would I do if I were a member of the class of 2009? How would I handle this? What could I say? How could I get out of this fix I was in? And when I asked the question that way, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I'd ask for an extension. So So upstairs I go to Glory's office. I said, is the senior principal in? She nodded to the room. I looked in, and there's Mr. Webley in his sombrero. He was senior principal or something, I don't know. And he looks at me and says, we don't need no stinking weather reports. I had no idea what he meant. Meanwhile, Mr. Reynolds walks in, all agog. We've got a problem. We've got a problem, he says to Mr. Webley. And I said, Mr. Webley said, well, what's the problem? And he said, it's the FFA. They're up in arms. They say that their bylaws clearly state that any livestock-related pranks are their sole intellectual property. And they're pretty upset, and they're threatening to airlift a cow onto the roof of the school. I'm thinking, amidst this, I'm going to get no airtime at all, so I back out of Mr. Webley's office, and I realize I have to go to the top if I'm going to get some redress here. So I went back to Glory. And I said, Glory, do you think you could bring Krista and Julie together so that I could act? And before I finished my sentence, there they were. That was kind of freaky, I gotta say. So I say to them, look, you know, I've got this problem. My computer crashed on Tuesday. Again, I'm thinking like the class of 2009, right? Pretty good, huh? My computer crashed, and my wife is showing symptoms of swine flu, because everybody goes like, oh, swine flu, you know. But again, before I can finish, Krista and Julie say in unison, we don't think that's a good idea. So now I'm really getting a little scared because I've never heard people speak so clearly in unison, and they've got this mind meld thing going on. And Glory is just like smiling benignly at this process. So I know I got to get out of there. So I go run down the hall towards the auditorium, where I come upon a gaggle of free-range Walden students in the hall. They're eating marshmallow fluff with their hands out of the jar, okay? I have no idea what the meaning of that is. So I say to them, I explain the problem to them. I figure they should know, right? They commune with nature and all that stuff. And I say, what should I do? They put their heads together. They don't say a word, okay? Not a word. They put their heads together, and then they look at me. And now I'm saying, what do I do? What do I do? And then, in true class of 2009 fashion, they gave me the answer. They said, wing it. So here I am. And, I almost forgot. You people know the cooks, right? Yeah, they're stalwarts of the physical education department. Had their 4th child this year. I don't know if anyone knows, but when Sarah went into labor, Ed called 911. My wife's in labor. My wife's in labor. What do I do? What do I do? The dispatcher says, calm down. Is this her first child? Ed says, no, this is her husband. It was a rough night. Melissa, should I do one more? An unnamed member of the class of 2009 walked into the doctor's office this week with a carrot in one ear, a cucumber in the other, and 2 peas up her nose. The doctor said, what's the problem? She said, I'm not feeling well. The doctor said, well, you're not eating right. I'll stop. Moving right along. I'm going to get serious. One of the blessings and curses of graduation ceremonies is that they force us to look back over the experience. High school graduation is a ceremony of particular intensity in that it marks the end of not just 4 years of education in one building, but in a community like ours, 6 years of shared educational, social, and emotional experience among all graduates. And for many of you, 13 or more years of being together as a group, learning, growing, and sharing. In a very real way, you are not just saying goodbye to your high school days, but also to your childhood. Your collective childhoods, lived in the walls of this and other buildings, in this and other towns, is now a web of shared experience that you will remember. Try to forget, laugh about, cry about, regret, and savor the rest of your days. And it is those people who sit with you today who will best understand and best remember your experience. But on another level, everyone who sits in this room today has shared your experience, some intensely, some only peripherally. But it's because they've shared some part, great or small, that they sit here with you in celebration. It's apt that you sit up here among, but apart from those who face you. For to this point in your life, those who face you have greatly influenced much of what your experience has been. They've been your parents and family, your teachers, counselors, coaches, mentors, and friends. They've shaped much of your experience and helped you interpret the meaning of that experience. Your success to now and the accomplishments of having completed 13 plus years of education would not have happened without the support, guidance, encouragement, and stewardship of that large group that sits in front of you now. Individually and collectively, they perhaps did not always do the right thing, say the right thing, or create the perfect opportunity or experience. But that group that sits before you has been there from the beginning for you, sharing your joy, celebrating your accomplishments, and holding you accountable for what you've done, both good and bad. And they've been there with you, sharing the joy and the sorrow of your many victories and defeats. So before I turn my attention to you, graduates of 2009, it is, after all, your day. As your duly appointed graduation speaker, I will ask you to do one thing for those you are leaving behind who sit there in front of you. For those who, in a very real sense, made this day possible for you. I want you all to take a moment and look out there. Look at your family, look at your friends, look at your teachers. These are people who've been much of your life all this time. And I want you to look at them and make eye contact with anyone who means something to you, a teacher, a family member, a friend. You know where they are. You know where they're sitting. And just consider what they've done for you to help you get to this day. You can even smile at them. It's okay. And now together, class of 2009, I want to ask you to give your community of family, friends, and teachers recognition for their part in putting you here by putting your hands together for them. Class of 2009, can you give them a big round of applause? Thank you. Thank you. That wasn't so bad, was it? I promise you, graduates, that those sitting before you appreciate your recognition. Understand, there is much joy and much sadness they are feeling today. And here's where your experience diverts from theirs. For them, by and large, today is a celebration of ending, of a journey completed. And while this is also true for you graduates, the excitement of ending is as much about beginning the next phase of your life, whether it be college, world of work, military, or some other form of service. You, class of 2009, are going forth from here, and you're excited about that, or you certainly should be. The rest of my remarks I'll address to you. You've had tremendous success and varied experiences that reflect positively on your school, your community, and yourselves as individuals. Yet another cheerleading championship, the tremendous success of the wrestling team, the awesome display of the history club in Montpelier, a great year for the math club, the ongoing excellence of the music program, year in, year out, one of the best in the state, the great leap forward of the rowing team, a semi-final appearance this year for the softball team, and a championship game appearance for the boys basketball team. Likewise, you've had unique and varied experiences, trips domestic and abroad, too numerous to mention, an excellent FFA that is a source of pride for the community, a unique outdoor-based educational program, Walden, that was the subject of an NPR story, clubs, activities, dances, school organizations as well. Of course, there's your many important relationships among yourselves and within this community. All these accomplishments and shared experiences combine to give you a collective experience that's unique. Remember it all, for it has helped shape you become the person you are, and will continue to shape you for the person you will be. And there will never be another experience quite like the one you just ended. But enough of looking back, let's talk about the future. Listen, I've never been too keen on giving advice. If I suggest a course of action to you and you follow it, you might credit me for your success, which robs you of that credit for your own success. Worse, if I give you bad advice, I might become the easy target for blame at the outcome, which robs you of responsibility for your failure. Nevertheless, the day and the heady intoxicant of your invitation, combines to destroy my resolve to avoid giving advice. The easy rationale is that it is expected of graduation speakers, at least in my mind, to offer words of wisdom to you who are poised to rush through that doorway on the other side of which waits the rest of your life. In my grand fantasy, my words will at the same time inspire and humble you, at the very least profoundly change your life. In truth, I offer my words in humility, secure in the knowledge that we are indeed all bozos on this bus. But if at this point in my life I reflect on what ideas have helped give me some sense of executive competence in my life, and even some satisfaction in how I navigate this coil, it would be the following I would recommend for your consideration. First, know where you come from. This is your community that sits before you. These people, your family, your friends, your teachers, have cared about you from the beginning. While you could have been born into a town of greater privilege and wealth, don't we all wish? You will hopefully realize later, if you don't already know, how lucky you are to have grown up here, with everything you've needed to prepare yourself for whatever you wish to be and whatever you wish to do. You will no doubt stay in touch with your families, but please don't forget the people in this building. They also love to hear what happens in your life after you leave, and continue to take great pride in your accomplishments. We really will miss you, you know. Also, continue to be students, whether or not you're going on to college. You've learned a lot here. Don't stop now. One of the great strengths of this country is that it values equal access to education. Take advantage of that. But perhaps more importantly, value and respect knowledge more than opinion. Get informed on the issues of your life. The freedom and ability to express one's opinion should not be confused with truth. With that freedom of expression comes the responsibility to get information and to listen to others. The challenges and stakes are ever increasing in the world today. Solving them will require your informed participation. Rise to this challenge. Also, set your goals high. If your goals are modest, your success will be too. But if you aim high, you might just get that job you really want. You might get into that school or program you've been told is beyond your grasp. If you try to be the best and try your best, you will be proud of the result. Because if you truly give it your best effort and do not succeed, you will not suffer from regret. And you will have met your own standard for your behavior. Okay, the next one's my personal favorite. You are only limited by your desire. I love that. You are only limited by your desire. If you believe that you are the author of your life story, if you believe that you create your own reality, and that you are responsible for what happens in your life, then it follows that if good things are to happen in your life, if you are to make your dreams become reality, then your will, your desire, will become the obstacle or the impetus to creating the reality you want. Here's where life is like basketball. Yeah, you really think I wouldn't go here without referencing 2009 basketball team? Come on. The state finalists, Commodores. Or not give out a big shout to Josh, Cam, Adam, and Jackson. Thank you for an incredible year, one which you and your teammates will remember the rest of your lives. Anyway, how the basketball team relates to this point about desire being your only limitation is thus. And I know many of you were over at Barry and were here most of the year, so this is your story too. As you know, we came so close to realizing that goal of winning the state championship. We were 16 minutes away. All of our team, and I believe especially our seniors, felt the sting of a lost opportunity as we watched Springfield accept the trophy we'd hoped would be ours. The most painful moment of the year was watching what we wanted to have happen to us happen to someone else. It was painful because we knew we could have made it happen, and our loss was therefore our responsibility. What I appreciate about our team is that everyone accepted responsibility for that last defeat, and that the responsibility was all ours. If only we defended better, shot better, and coached better. But because our team worked as hard as we did all year and played together so well and overcame the obstacles that we faced, I've never been connected to a team that had to fight through more injuries and sickness than we did this year. We came this close to reaching all of our goals. And when all's said and done, only 3 boys teams in Vergennes history, notice I said boys teams, Brittany Nevins, Only 3 boys' teams in Vergennes history accomplished more than we did. So, though disappointed, we can acknowledge we had a pretty good year. Which brings me to my next bit of advice. Enjoy the journey. While it is important to set goals and try to reach them, because this is one of the ways you will define your lives, the process of getting to those goals greatly determines how much pleasure and satisfaction you take from your day-to-day lives. It is possible to be focused and committed to your goals and enjoy the ride there. I enjoyed coming to the gym every day of the season, being with the team, living with our plan to be the best. Not winning the championship did nothing to diminish the day-to-day joy that we experienced as a team. And in the end, our team had a shared experience that binds us together forever. And we will console ourselves with the fact that we were one of the best teams in school history. And that sounds a little bit better today than it did the day we lost in Barrie. Your life will be your journey. There is pleasure and satisfaction to be found in the day-to-day process of living it. I had originally thought I would give each of you a bag with 3 items in it to symbolize elements useful to a happy and productive life. But after I added up the cost of each bag times 104, and then imagined these items in your hands as you sit here, individual bags began to seem like a very bad idea. And I realized that I could make my symbolic point just as easily with 1 bag and ask you to imagine your own bags. So, I forget what I put in here. Oh, yeah. First thing is a candle. It's on the floor. Sorry. First item's a candle. And as products of the VUHS English department, I know you understand symbolism. And I know you understand this symbolism, so I will explain it to the audience. The candle symbolizes knowledge. And my hope is that all of these graduates will continue to pursue it. Second item is very small. It's so small I can barely hold it. But it's a dime. Okay? The dime, however, is not for you. The dime is to share with others and symbolizes my hope that you will always remember to share with others and feel a sense of responsibility to those around you who can use your support. And the last item, and when you see it, you'll realize why I wisely chose to not put it in your individual hands as you sit there. Scott, Caitlin, Cassandra, Cameron, Lawrence, Philip, Leah, and yes, you too, Adam. It's a kazoo. It works. Kazoo's a reminder to always make music and have fun in your lives. Be silly, smile, laugh. Those are best shared with others. Class of 2009, I love you guys. We all love you. We all love you very much. We'll miss you. We're very proud of you. Live long and prosper. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. You'll be here all week, right? Okay. And now for the business that we're here for, the presentation of diplomas. I would like to welcome to the dais Krista Westenfeld, president of the class of 2009, to read the diploma order. I would like to invite Mrs. Lori Gutowski, the vice chair of the school board, and Mr. Thomas O'Brien, the superintendent of schools, and Mrs. Glory Martin, who does everything for me to make this go. Thank you.
If the first 5 graduates could please come forward. Scott Aldor Anderson. Leah Armel. Kelly Patrick Barrows, Jr. Tyler James Birchmore. Sarah Ann Bissonette. Timothy A. Bosworth. Kristen Elise Brown. Melissa Sue Brown. John Robert Bruce. David V. Butler. Joshua Stetson Carter. Kelsey Lauren Chafee. Elizabeth Hattie Childers. Benjamin Albie Chug. Erin Elizabeth Claudio. Nathan Abraham Cohn. Cassandra Coda. Elizabeth Jane Coda. Helen Anna Cowan. Joshua Michael Cunningham. Cameron Gordon Curler. Catherine Lee Curler. Erica Lindsay Curtis. Andrew P. Darwin. Catherine Desjardins. Brittany M. Devine. Nicholas S. Dooley. Julianne Elise Edwards. Harley D. Erickson. Mason Philip Everts. Roy C. Fetters. Adam Michael Flynn. Dylan Paul Flynn. Samantha Marie Flynn. Tyler Olin Flynn. Ryan Zachary Fuller. Joseph Stephen Furman. Chase Lyle Gallison. Alyssa Ray Galuska. Timothy J.B. Glassberg. Kara Jeanette Goodman. Kristen Elizabeth Grant. Cameron E. Gregory. Lawrence Bruce Taylor Hall. Anna Marie Hammer. Jonna I. Hamach. Alexandria Leilani Harris. David Charles Hawkins. Lee A. Higby. Garrett Scott Holler. Samantha Lynn Hoden. Catherine Brock Housekeeper. Basil Joseph Jerger. Caitlin Nicole Johnson. Kyle Howard Karsmarzik. Kelly May Cahart. Carl Justin Cron. Nathan Joseph LaFountain. Congratulations. Davis Lelumiere. Jackson L. Lelumiere. Justin Kevin Lelumiere. Silas Charles Larson. Jolie Claire Levine. Robert William Luby III. Sarah Ann Lucia. Tammy J. Diamond. Michael Joseph Edward McInerney. Stephanie Autumn Miller. Brittany Elizabeth Nevins. Benjamin Douglas Newkirk. Dana Lee O'Brien. Megan Louise O'Daniel. Heather Marie Osicki. Aaron Matthew Paquette. Philip Pigeon. Jesse Plouffe. Elizabeth Vonda Poquette. Anthony P. Porter. Brittany Ann Victoria Quattrosi. John Joseph Rao, Jr. George M. Richmond. Julia Margaret Robinson. Samuel Robtoy. Joshua Jules Rolette. John Charles Rude. Joseph Peter Russett. Brian Andrew Sawyer. Samantha Winifred Schlein. Megan Michelle Scott Tisbert. Electra Metcalf Shea. Catherine Ruth Sokolowski. Mark Tyler Stedman. Charles Michael Stinchfield. Damian Charles Strona. Michael John Strong, Jr. Kate Michelle Struhanmer. Jessica Marie Sturdivant. James Lawrence Sullivan. Shannon Elizabeth Treya. John Taylor Bruce Vincent. William Joseph Ronald Vincent. Benjamin Woodard. Robert Lee Worley II.
This certainly is one of those last but not least. I'd like to present this diploma to Krista Elizabeth Westenfeld. I would like to welcome to the dais Ms. Julianne Edwards for the challenge to the class of 2010.
Good evening. Before I introduce my challenge to the class of 2010, I have a challenge for this audience. Look at the clock for 5 seconds. Any wristwatch or cell phone will do, but focus on it for 5 seconds. Okay, begin. In those 5 seconds spent, you could have hugged someone, laughed at a joke, shed multiple tears, or smiled at a passing face. It's truly all about time and how you spend each second, because life is moments, these moments of time strung together. Class of 2010, here's something I want you to realize right now and remember over the next year. Life is now. You may be dreading one more year at VUHS, And you may wish you were in my position right now, because when I walk out of this gym, I'm done with high school and mini quizzes and poster projects. But sitting out there listening to me, you are in life, and anything can happen to you right now, this very minute. There is a perception that the 4 years of high school are preparation for life, but every minute that you spend in high school is life. And although high school may prepare you for the future and certain obstacles you must endure, every minute of that preparation constitutes the essence of life. So when I leave this evening, I'm also done with the hallways of friendly faces, teachers knowing me by name, and the constant support of this community. But class of 2010, you have 365 more days, 525,600 more minutes until you graduate. And each minute holds the potential for laughter, joy, fear, and adventure. My challenge to you, class of 2010, sitting here tonight with approximately a year left to go, is to take each and every increment of time, every second, every minute, every day, every week, and treat it as if it is your most precious commodity. I want you to remember that there is nothing you can do to stop the consumption of this priceless resource. Time is always going to pass at the same rate. After 60 seconds, a minute is gone, and after 1 year, high school is over forever. However, you can take this time to develop, explore, and create yourself. What you do with each minute makes the difference. I'm not commanding you to be happy every minute of your senior year, because inevitably you will be frustrated, upset, and hurt at times. But I'm challenging you to usurp every moment and remember each one. Remember what you learned about yourself from each of those moments. Next year, you'll inescapably look towards the future and your life after VUHS. But don't lose focus of the present. Always absorb the little moments of pure joy. Embrace the smiles in the hallway, the laughter at lunchtime, and the tears shed between friends. Share these moments with those you love before you leave them. Life is uncertain and intangible, and the most important treasures we have are the relationships we build with others. Use this time wisely, and don't take a single one of those minutes for granted, because you will never get them back. Learn about yourself, laugh at your blunders, love those you encounter, and live. I wish you luck this upcoming year.
We're almost there, guys. By the way, thanks for the feathers. Where's the rest of the chicken? I would like to recognize a number of people. I'd like to begin by recognizing some young men and women who have made a decision to serve our country, and in a time of national need, in a time of national peril. And I would very much appreciate a very serious recognition of their commitment to our country. And it begins with National Guardswoman Lee Higbee. Please stand. Please remain standing until we're all standing. National Guardsman David Hawkins. Seaman Benjamin Newkirk. National Guardsman Anthony Porter. National Guardsman John Rao. National Guardsman Joseph Russett. and National Guardsman John Taylor Vincent. Thank you. I'm going to say a few words about learning and caring. First, I would like to point out the class advisors, the names of the class advisors of this class. And Mrs. Michelle Chamberlain, Mrs. Becca Coffey, who could not be here because she's a wee bit pregnant, Mrs. Sarah Cook, Ms. Leah Hammond, Ms. Elizabeth Jameson, Mrs. Christine Kirkaldy, Mrs. Sue O'Daniel, Mr. Leo Rock, Mrs. Kathy Spalding, Mr. Carl Steen, and Mrs. Judy Weiger. Those of you who are here, could you please stand and accept the class of 2009, their thanks. I'd just like to take a few words of your time, and I say words of your time because I have every time I get up here, I'm trying to encourage people to read. That's what we're here for. We're here to learn, but it's very peculiar. The students learn well here. What they also do is they care well here. When this class was in 8th grade, on a beautiful spring day, when I was the head of St. Andrews Middle School in Boca Raton, Florida, I flew up here and met with a lot of the students here at Vergennes High School. I was so taken aback by their kindness and their honesty, their forthrightness, that's why I decided to come here and try to forge a career back here in my home state. It was because of you guys that I wanted to be an educator here. And I miss teaching English a lot, so every year I take this opportunity to beat you over the head with some English. Two passages I'm going to read. One, and they're both from favorite books, or one's a play, one's a book that I enjoy teaching. These aren't rare pieces, these aren't intellectually rarefied pieces, but everybody should read Hamlet. It's a firm belief of mine. When Hamlet says, "What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals, and yet, to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me, nor woman neither, by your smiling may seem to say so." So Shakespeare makes it an ironic passage, but the key words, what a piece of work is a man. How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god. This is probably the purest statement of humanism written in the Renaissance. It stays with us today. And when I say embrace humanism, I don't mean give up your religion or your ethnicity. What I'm urging the class to do is to become a humanist, to become a fan of all things human, of the emotionalism of humanity, of the intelligence of humanity, of the kindness of humanity, and embrace all things human in the study of your lives. Because if you stop studying in your lives, if you stop learning, then all of this is for naught. It doesn't matter if you're at Harvard, it doesn't matter if you're CCV, it doesn't matter if you're working. You need to keep moving on every day, every single day. You can't ever stay the same. You're either going to get worse or better. You're only going to get worse or better. And if the decision is better, just like Mr. Quinn says, you will have a wonderful life. So that's the learning part. The caring part. This class raised money for cancer. This class planted trees at their home schools. This class is one of the great senior classes I've been associated with in 30 years of education. But I'd like to say a word about our teachers. Here's what was on my door. It's from Catcher in the Rye. Holden's a very confused young man. He's dropped out of school. His parents don't know it. He's wandering aimlessly through the streets of New York, and he misunderstands a very beautiful Scottish folk song that Robert Burns recorded, and that is the Catcher in the Rye. And he misunderstands what a catcher in the rye is. And he says, anyway, and he's a terrible romantic. He says, anyway, I keep picturing all these little kids playing some game in this big field of rye and all. Thousands of little kids, and nobody's around, nobody big, I mean, except me. And I'm standing on the edge of some crazy cliff. What I have to do, I have to catch everybody if they start to go over the cliff. I mean, if they're running and they don't look where they're going, I have to come out from somewhere and catch them. That's all I do all day. I'd just be the catcher in the rye and all. I know it's crazy, but that's the only thing I'd really like to be. And I look at my teachers here, and that's really all they really want to be, is the catcher in the rye, catching kids who need catching. And from time to time, they've caught you and helped you up and helped you re-engage yourself. And I really think they're special people, and I'd like the community to understand how much I care for those people out there and how much these kids care for those people who have helped them along this way. And now, before I present the class of 2009 to the world, I'd like to give you the same little spiel, but shorter, that I gave you on awards night. Be careful, love one another, don't drink and drive, be responsible tonight, and take care of one another. It's the surest way of making it through. I encourage you to go to Project Graduation and get yourself real tired and sleep for the next 48 or 72 hours, even though, Kelly, you'll probably do that anyway, no matter what you do. However, be safe, be kind, be yourselves, take care of one another. Ladies and gentlemen, I present you the class of 2009. Those of you still